Picture this. It's an icy winter morning. Rain is drumming against the metal rooftops as a sleep-deprived, soaked 9th grader enters the school cafeteria. That's me. My hair dripping like a waterlogged mop, leaving a slight trail as I stumble into the cafeteria at 7:30 in the morning. There, I notice our lunch lady, a face that I rarely recognized before. But today, I noticed something different. A mischievous glint in her eyes and a hint of a witty joke coming through. I notice that she's about to say something and I'm going to laugh. She says, "You look like you've drenched your thirst. You must have been parched." I grin. With my wit as poor as my appearance, I reply to her, yeah, I am practicing for my Poseidon impression. I got to be ready for the god of the sea for the next drama school play, right?" She looks at me with her eyes crinkled at the corners and a wide smile that turns into a hearty laugh as she says, "Have a good day, son." And at that moment, I pause. Because for the first time, I notice her motherly eyes and that smile that she puts on her face. I imagine the journey she must have taken to come here and prepare our meals at this quiet, peaceful morning as rain gently whispers atop the metal rooftops. Thank you. I stutter. I stand there with the words echoing the weight of continents crossed and the discovery of a story untold. And as I float towards the cafeteria tables, I notice something. A subtle shift has happened in my day. Very subtle. It was a brief interaction, yes, but as I walk over to the tables, I feel more happier. I can feel myself standing a bit straighter. I can feel myself smile a bit more easier. Because at that moment, there was a little spark, a tiny bit of warmth amidst this cold and dreary day. And I noticed it was at that moment that I realized that it wasn't part of her story or mine. That interaction was something that we shared. And that, my friends, is a microconnection. It's those, how do I put it, the casual nods that you have between your friends, the shared smiles you share with a stranger, or that brief moments of understanding with someone you have never met that just leads into this moment of connection. It's the seemingly insignificant moments in your life that weave the rich tapestry of humanity. So how do I put this? Trevor Noah so brilliantly put this in this phrase: people are like Horcruxes. You heard me right. People are like Horcruxes because every time we meet them, we give a small part of ourselves. No matter how brief the conversation is, we still leave an imprint of ourselves to them. Science backs up the power of these magical connections. Gillian Sandstrom, a leading researcher and psychologist in the study of small interactions, has found, or has repeatedly found, that interacting with your acquaintances, your strangers, is associated with a greater well-being. In an article research published as early as 2014, she showed that participants who engaged more in small talk with the participants around them, like, for example, commuters on a train ride, or coffee shop patrons experiencing genuine interactions with their barista, they all feel better. For example, as they talked, once they finished that conversation, they felt an instant strength that they had. They felt more belonging in their community. And fair warning here, I'm not suggesting that you go to your barista and having very deep conversations. The reason why is instead of writing your name, they might write existential crisis on your coffee cup. Just saying. But jokes aside, these small interactions are what actually power us. They show us that we're not in this journey alone, right? They allow us to relieve that pressure that we have in ourselves as high schoolers. Now let me put this in an example. When COVID-19 hit, it was devastating. Amidst the chaos, we had to change our goals, our daily patterns, and we had to get used to quarantine. It wasn't easy. But during that time, something very profound happened. We started to interact with people in a way that we really hadn't before. We're not privileged to the constant interaction between our best friends or actually anyone in general. And so whenever we had the chance to see a real face virtually, we made the most out of it. For example, when I was in a 7th grade group project, I was assigned to a small group of 4 to work on a coral reef project. There, I was so glad. Reason why? I didn't have to suffer another gray, black screen where a quiet voice just whispers out of nowhere and scares the heck out of me. I got to see real faces, real smiles, and real laughter, and real cringe when I make a really bad dad joke. But at that moment, I felt really good, and so did the others there, because that moment of openness, because we didn't know who we were all strangers at that point, but we shared a moment of openness during that time that allowed us to connect. Now think about it. That was in quarantine. The context was different, but now, what if we have the same level of openness as before? What if you talk to your PE partners, your teachers, your friends, your classmates, everyone around you with the same level of openness that we had before? Like I said, the context has changed, but the difference that we can make, not a bit. So close your eyes and picture this. Okay, you're walking down the school hallway and a sea of voices and chatter and faces flood the hallway. Lockers clank shut, backpacks become bumper cars, and you're lost in this overwhelming crowd. And somehow, you didn't even try, but you lock eyes with your history classmate. You hesitate for a little second, but you decide to smile and wave hi anyway. They notice you, they grin, and they wave fiercely. You can't help but let an amused chuckle escape your throat. And after that interaction, you walk to your class feeling a little straighter, smiling a little bit easier, feeling a bit more engaging in the upcoming Socratic. It's the same spark that I had when I had that brief interaction with the lunch lady. It sends a ripple throughout your entire day, and it makes you feel better. The reason why I'm saying this is these small interactions, they might seem insignificant, but as high schoolers, we keep all this pressure and self-doubt and loneliness within ourselves that we lose sight of the community behind us. These small conversations, come to think of it, are like planting seeds into the fertile soil of community. Okay? And as we do so, we build a stronger community and we become more engaged throughout. We don't feel lonely anymore. We don't feel like, I can't take this anymore. We feel that we belong. We can see our sense of self happening as we share these small conversations. So I ask you this: engage with people, connect. When you listen to someone, really listen and cherish that small moment you have between them. Because at that moment, when you do, you learn so much more. You're sharing a part of your identity, your story, your difference, your dreams, and you create this vast mosaic of humanity. Because for all you know, the next person you smile at might just change your entire life. Thank you.